Okay, what up ladies and gents, it's your favorite Asian robot right here, hopefully one of your favorite official content creators for the First Descendant, and today what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you this farming build for Kyle that we put together live on stream. The build is by no means the fastest farming build in the game, it's certainly not, it's Kyle after all, but you can actually get some pretty fun stuff out of it because it's not actually that bad. It's actually pretty decent overall, and we will test and showcase this in the Axian Plains. Okay, you can also use it in the Void Vessel, but I would really recommend if you're speedrunning that because it's really, really boring, you're better off using my Glay build. Okay? All right. Now, let's get into this, but before we do, look, I've got a couple of things to say. I really need your help right now, guys, so if you enjoy this video, please hit the thumbs up, like this video. The more likes I get, the better my content performs. So I'm relying on you to hit that thumbs up. It's free to do so. Now, if you want to help the channel a little more, do you see the 3 dots? You can hit that and send a super thanks, all right? Which brings me to my second point. Look, TFD's player base has fallen a lot, and I literally rely on tips, super thanks, all that to keep the channel running. So if you got some spare change, send it my way. I'd be very grateful. Last but not least, if you don't have money, that's totally cool. You can actually help me earn simply by playing my tracks on SoundCloud for free. We'll be releasing 3 new hip-hop tracks tomorrow, and my new old school hip-hop album will be coming out very soon. It's literally all free. You can just play this and get me paid. All right? Thank you very much if you decide to do that. Let's get into this video now. So, first and foremost, the reactor that I have for him is wrong. So please pay attention to the correct reactor, which I'm going to tell you about right now. I'm also going to remove my own cam. For his reactor, you want a non-attribute tech reactor with skill cooldown and skill power boost, tech skill power boost ratio. All right. This is actually his bossing reactor, which has additional skill attack when attacking Colossi. All right, but you actually want one for farming that has tech skill power boost ratio, so pay attention to that. Now, for external components, much like with Ultimate Luna, you're going to use the exact same components. So please take note, you're going to use the full Enlightened Mage set. This gives you a 2-set effect of enhanced skill power, 6%. And also, whenever you use 3 skills, you get non-attribute skill power of 84%, which drastically improves how much damage you can deal with Kyle. All right, we'll show you this in the field. But anyway, here are the roles you are going to need for the external component set. For your auxiliary power, this is what you're going to need. All right. For the sensor, this is what you're going to need. Please take a quick screenshot and you're good to go. Kyle does not use MP, so you can actually ignore the max MP roles and go for other roles if you want to. But since we use the same, unless you want to farm 2 sets of this, since we use the same sensor on other characters, you can just port the ones from Ultimate Luna over. All right, this is the stuff for the memory. Once again, Kyle does not use MP, so you can ignore the MP recovery modifier. And last but not least is the Mage processor. Kyle does use shield, so make sure you have these specific roles for your processor. Okay. All right, that is all you will need for your reactor and external components. Now, when it comes to weapons, okay, Kyle does not actually rely upon his weapon to deal damage. And for that reason, you are just going to use a speed stick Secret Garden. The sprint speed cores are there mostly to help you run faster. Okay, build can be anything. I just ported over Freyna's build because, again, the build for this weapon is not important. What is important, however, is the unique ability of the Secret Garden, because Kyle, when casting tech skills, will gain pest control. This gives him skill power, raw skill power per stack, which then multiplies with his non-attribute skill power bonuses. So that's how Kyle gets strong. Okay, now that you have that, let's move over to the farming Kyle. All right, so for Kyle's actual modules, when it comes to farming, here's what you're going to need for him. Overwhelming shield is a must, all right, because you don't need hit points. He recovers shields via his 3rd skill, which is on a 2-second cooldown. So you should have no trouble staying at maximum shields. In fact, you can recover other people's shields as well. So you will essentially have a self-heal and almost never die. Now, in order to make the farming build very comfortable to use, here's what we've got. Nimble Fingers, MP Conversion are your skill cooldowns. You want to have focus on non-attribute and focus on tech to further drop your skill cooldowns. All right, skill expansion is necessary for most of his skills to reach maximum capacity. All right, you will get close to maximum capacity. You won't actually hit that, but that's completely fine. And last but not least, you also need the non-attribute amplification to give yourself a bit more of a boost to your skill power. Now, in terms of getting Kyle's shields as high as possible, use Overwhelming Shield with increased shield, weighing the scales, and stim accelerant. I believe increased hit points will not perform as well, but let me try the difference because I forgot to test this on stream. Okay. Weighing the scales and increased hit points are pretty much the same. All right, so in fact, weighing the scales gives you like 500 more shields, so weighing the scales is better. For survival, like I said, overwhelming shield, increased shield, weighing the scales, and stim accelerant are all you are going to need. Then all you need is power beyond as his trigger module to give him more base skill power, and that's it. Kyle is ready to go. You've got plenty of multipliers in this build. You've got a lot of strength to go. Like I said, the weapons are not important. This Secret Garden is your speed stick. Now for your Inversion Reinforcer for farming, I went with Arche Circulation just to help his cooldowns a little bit, but you can actually drop this if you don't want it. This actually gives you the ability to then take rolling defense if you want. In case you desperately need to recover shields, you can roll to recover them. The choice is really yours. There is no right or wrong answer here because the only other option would be Focus Boost, which you don't really need because Kyle is all about cooldowns, not really skill cost. And you can't really make use of anything else. So again, up to you. You can choose to use this or you can choose to use this. For the farming loadout, doesn't really matter because this can give you only a slight boost considering the fact that you already have a lot of cooldowns in the build. Yeah? Okay. Now, Inversion Reinforcer set. Arcade Tuning is the last thing. Here's what you're going to use for Arcade Tuning. I'm actually going to go through it. You are going to go down the right-hand side. Please ignore this one spot. I just put that there because I had nothing else to add. And if you're asking, for those of you wondering why I no longer increase the max hit points, if you check the increase here, all it will do is add 1 maximum hit point, which does not change your overall shields. So realistically, this is a wasted point. You can keep it here if you want, but it won't do anything for you. So I instead went with as much power as I could stuff into his build. So I went all the way down the right-hand side. Make sure to grab the enhanced skill power, which has been fixed as of today's update. Go all the way up to grab cooldowns. Then you come around here, and your mutant cell is Arche Chain Catalyst. This is good for farming because it will reduce the enemy's non-attribute skill power resistance and allow you to deal more damage. You can substitute this with other skills if you like, but this is what I find works well for me in general, especially against targets that like don't die instantaneously in one hit. Yeah, this can be a bit more helpful. All right, so this is what I've got, and that is everything that you will need in this build. Now that you understand the build, why don't we actually see it in action, because I'm sure you don't want to just, you know, get the build explanation but not see it in action. So let's go to the Axiom Plains right now. Go into a private run. Liquefied AX Vault's perfectly fine. So Kyle plays differently to other Descendants. All right, you're going to be able to spam his skills and use his 4th skill mainly to drop bombs on your enemy. Like, that's going to be the crucial key. All right. His bossing build also exists, but I will do that up on a separate day. If you guys are really interested, just let me know. Like the video, show me that you want to see more content from me, and I'll happily make the bossing video as well after a quick test live on stream. I'll probably be busy this weekend with Arc Raiders, but we should be able to get it done.
Descendant, bogus comms traffic is increasing at your location. It looks like Legion of Breach troops have been deployed.
Okay, so now we're going in. There we are. So when Kyle plays around, here's what you're going to do. You're basically just going to be dashing. Alright, this is your main bread and butter, and it cools down super fast anyway. You can even use a shield when enemies are rushing towards you to get a good kill like this when you pair it with your 3rd skill. Alright, this is the way that you will basically enjoy Kyle. Use the 1st skill to close the gap and deal massive AoE damage to targets that you pierce and hit. If targets are coming from a specific location, you can send your slow-moving shield out. It blocks their projectiles and deals damage to them, which again is pretty awesome, and it's on a very short cooldown. You can have 2 shields going at the same time, although they sink into the ground pretty often, which is hilarious. Alright. There you go. So finish beating up your targets.
Here I come.
And that's it. I went a little overboard there, but it's okay.
Breach creature response confirmed. Approaching location.
Now, when you have to deal with this, you will use your 4th skill mostly to bomb this little eyeball thing It can be a bit tough to fly on controllers, so just take note of that. But that's your only way of getting rid of the eye. Getting rid of it with other skills, pretty difficult. Alright, so that's where you use your fourth skill. Your fourth skill is mostly used against elite enemies and big targets that have a lot of hit points.
Let's go.
But you have to learn how to accurately bomb with that. Oh, I forgot to go through the Transcendent module. Sorry about that. The Transcendent module is superconductive bombing. I'll put an extra section at the end. But those of you who are watching this full video should know anyway, so you guys will be fine. Alright, if this enemy is in a doorway like this, it can be very, very hard to bomb it. So here's what you're going to do. You're just going to go around the target, hit it with the bombs, and that's basically how that's going to work. So if you have an elite target, that's how you get rid of them. Okay, there you go.
Colony of breach creatures spotted inside the operation zone.
There you go. You can also use it for a little bit of board clear, but it's on a 8-second cooldown, so you just want to make sure that you know when the elite target spawn, because you want to have it ready as soon as an elite target or a big target spawns. You just want to be able to bombard them straight away. But yeah, you can actually mess around with Kyle and use his farming build if you want to. It's good for a little bit of fun, because all you have to do is just dash around and shoulder check people. Alright, and you're releasing like magnetic rays. Now when the elite Abyss Scarab spawns, just hit it with your fourth skill. Okay, once it goes on cooldown, just chill for a bit. Once it's ready, just fly. And you're done. That's it. That's Kyle's build in a nutshell. Alright. So, yeah, there you go. He cleared that in about 3 minutes 48 seconds. Not the fastest, but pretty darn good. Kyle is actually quite a beast if you play him correctly, and this is how you play him correctly. So, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoy my Kyle farming build. Like I said, not particularly the best, but pretty darn fun. Okay? Now, before we go, as always, if you guys haven't already, please make sure you like this video. If you want to see more content from me, like this video. I'll be very, very grateful. You can also send super thanks if you want to help keep the channel running. Like I mentioned, I'm willing to take anything, so do send a tip if you enjoy my content. You want to see us continue to make TFD content and stuff like that. Last but not least, you got no money, that's okay. Please play my tracks on SoundCloud. I'd be very grateful if you do. Thank you for this, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Have fun if you can. I know TFD is not in a great state, but have fun if you can. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Look out for my new tracks coming soon. Bye.